Good morning, everyone. Everything is up and running. Guess what today is? It's November 1st, the first day of the month. It happens to fall on a Monday, which, P.S., is not the first day of the week. That was yesterday, but it's the first day of the work week, the school week. Good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, a.k.a. Naughty Boss, live with two
Sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. And there go my hands again. I don't know why I do that. I'm Italian. I guess that's why I do it. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. Yes, Monday mindset, Mindset Monday. And what better way to start November 1st than with our guest, the amazing Laura Waugh, who is all about mindset. So Laura, we're just going to hop right on into it. First of all, we want to welcome you to the Two Sistas podcast family.
Hello, Two Sisters. Love it.
And what you do is amazing with mindset. And we always, obviously our theme day today is Monday Mindset. And mindset is different for everyone. So if you would just kind of introduce us to what you do and how you implement mindset and how you do it.
All right. Thanks, Janice. Thanks, Carol Sue.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yes, I didn't realize that mindset was a thing until, probably several years and several certifications ago. And I came to recognize that there was a lot of chatter going on in my head that was not necessarily positive or helpful. And so I was in the middle of making a
There was a lot of chatter going on in my head.
I got it. Just like that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, a little. See, it was your own voice going in your own voice. We were trying to.
I love it.
That's just how it works.
A little sound effect for me. Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what it was like. Every time I was trying to do something or speak, there was a lot of feedback going on in my head, and I couldn't figure out basically how to get out of my own way. And I started a meditation practice. And again, I know that word is probably not something everyone loves or everyone looks forward to or everyone even wants to try, but it was really I started meditation as a health benefit. The health benefits were amazing to me, so I thought I would try that. And in doing so, I realized it was my mindset, the noises that were going on in there, that I actually could direct and choose what I was thinking. And at that point, I was like, oh, this is what they mean, like setting your mind, because a lot of us think that our minds are in charge and they can take over and they can do all these things, which they can, but I kind of think of them like a puppy. They can be pretty wild. They can get into a lot of things. They can cause a lot of destruction. But just like a puppy, our minds can actually be trained to do what we ask of them. So as you can tell, I'm talking like my mind is a little bit separate from me. So it is. Once you start to learn some meditation practices, you learn to be the observer. You're able to step back and you're able to set your mind to what you want it to do. So one of the things that I did this morning as I was laying in bed, because this is a little early for me, I do get up early, but I'm usually not here on camera early, is I like to tell my mind where we're going to go for the day. So I lay in bed and I take a little drive, and in my mind, I go through all of the steps of what I'm going to do. And I see myself doing them. I see myself doing them with great energy, with happiness, with joy. And it's like a little pre-programming. It's a dress rehearsal that shows the mind where we want to go. And sure enough, just like I told my mind, I'm like, you're going to be in that seat at 5 minutes till the hour with your cup of hot lemon water, and you're going to be all ready. And here I am, dressed, hair combed. So mindset to me is, again, it's giving your energy, your internal energy, a place to go, as opposed to letting it run all over you.
Oh my gosh. I love that analogy. Can you just repeat that again for our audience? Because I think that is very significant.
Your mindset it's just an energy. So you are shaping that energy. You are choosing what you're going to think about, where you're going to take that energy, and you are the director of it.
Oh my gosh.
I absolutely love that, because we always talk about putting, your intentions out, like actually say them out into the universe, because when you say it, you're declaring it. And it's kind of a confirmation with your mind. Okay, it's a subconscious thing that thought process is there. And when you have a clear goal as to where you're going, and sometimes you got to clear the clutter out to understand where you want your mind to go, and say, what do I want to accomplish today? Like, have that chat in the mirror and say, like, what do I need to get done today? What is the perception of the meaning behind what I'm doing? Like, am I clear and decisive of what I want to get done? And I think so many times we think that you just don't have to have that kind of chat with yourself in the mirror, or you just chat yourself in a nice, quiet area to say, what do I want to accomplish today? And so many times, a lot of people think, oh, it just comes naturally to them. Like, they're just go-getters. They're always so upbeat. They always know exactly where they're going. And the truth of the matter is, none of us do. But we have to train our mind. The more that we do that, we're actually establishing that healthy relationship with our brain and a healthy habit.
I think that was the biggest aha for me in my lifetime, was that I got to choose what I think about. And also I got to choose my emotion. I got to choose what emotion was going to go along with that. I always thought that emotions just happen to you. I'm sure there's a lot of women out there that might feel the same, where they're like, I'm just so emotional. I just get overwhelmed. Well, yes, exactly. Those emotions are actually feedback, but we also have a time period, a process before any activity. When we get up in the morning, you can do it throughout the day, check in with yourself. You actually can stop and redirect and choose where you're going and how you want to feel about it. And that's been huge for me, because there's mornings I do wake up and I'm like, this day doesn't feel good. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to choose to think about something a little different. Okay, there's got to be something good in today. Or maybe I'm not going to choose bliss, because bliss seems too far away. Maybe instead of this meh, I'm going to choose one level above that. All right, I'm going to choose contentment for today, or acceptance for today. I'm just going to accept. I'm not going to try to push too hard today. And so, yeah, once I realized I was in the driver's seat, that my mind wasn't running me, my emotions weren't running me, that I got to choose, man, whole worlds opened up.
That is so true, because when we get to choose how we direct our energy, and when you were speaking about that, it brought me back to last Tuesday when I was driving to Philly, which it was a horrible day to drive. The weather was terrible. Took me over 4 hours. And I was just like, and I'm like, breathe. Okay. Redirect your energy, redirect your focus. And that usually works for me. And thankfully it did, because it was a long drive, and my back started to hurt. And I was just noticing all these, I don't want to say bad feelings, but just the energy of everything that I was feeling. So I'm curious, I know everybody has their own little way of processing when our lives get derailed out of nowhere. We don't see something coming, and then boom, for instance, my day is I have a very regimented day, and that works fantastic for me. But when that gets disrupted, it throws me off kilter. So what are some suggestions that you could give our audience about what to do with those derailments? And you brought up a lot of great things about choosing your emotion and redirecting. I was writing so fast, I can't even read my handwriting. But if you could share with us some tips about maybe how to go about doing that.
Yeah, one of my favorite mantras is, what we think about, we bring about. And I didn't realize that I could feel something. I could choose to feel something. And so what I like to do is practice feeling that way. So you're training that puppy, you're training your brain, and you're training to feel good. So whenever I have a feel good moment, like let's say I go to my favorite coffee shop and I finally get that yummy cup of coffee, like I just saturate myself in that feeling of excitement and bliss and happiness and that first step and all of that. And I try to like memorize that feeling so that I can bring it back in again when maybe I need to remind myself what happiness or contentment feels like. And so again, grabbing that feeling and then practicing it later, which sounds kind of weird if you've never done it before. Some of the more practical, I would say, is if anything, the last 2 years have been teaching me is acceptance and detachment, which sound like really beautiful, lovely things, and they can be a real pain in the ass to practice. Full honesty here. But one of the things you were talking about, Carol Sue, and even you, Janice, is you were saying, you notice things coming up and you were just acknowledging them. So you weren't like grabbing onto, oh, my back feels horrible. This is the worst my back's ever felt. Like you weren't amplifying it. You were just noticing it. And so I think that's super important, just to give our own selves feedback. Like, okay, it's raining. This feels dangerous. My back's hurting a little bit. I've been in the car for 4 hours. Just observing what you're experiencing to yourself, kind of acknowledgement, like, yeah, this is super hard. Yeah, this is not my favorite part of my day. And in that acceptance, you're really kind of giving yourself that mama love, like that those words that maybe a friend would say if they were in the seat next to you. And that has a very calming and soothing effect, even when things are shitty. And so again, it's not that you're trying to change it. It's not that you're trying to turn into Mary Poppins and make it perfect. It's that acceptance that we're not gripping onto it, because sometimes when we grip onto it, that makes the pain and suffering worse. And then the last thing I do a lot, because I do encounter a lot of disruptions in my day. We have a 2-year-old new dog who's like a puppy. I have a fully grown husband who's full-time retired, which means he's at home all the time. And even when I set boundaries, sometimes there's interruptions. So
yeah.
What I ask myself when I have a static on the radio, or I have something that comes up and it's out of my schedule, or it's out of my preferred way of operating, is I stop and I ask myself, so what's good about this? And I do that for a couple of reasons. Again, not trying to, be Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm per se, but I do know that our brain is constantly looking for problems to fix. That's one of the great things about being a human being, is we are natural problem solvers. But in looking for problems, we're always looking for what's wrong. So we're kind of geared to be wired that way. So when we flip the script on ourselves and say, what's good about this? We're actually changing our gray matter. We're actually reprogramming our brain to look for good things, even when rough stuff is happening. And so I'm like, okay, what's good about this? Well, my husband interrupted me when I was in the middle of a writing stunt. And the good thing is he really loves me. He wants to talk to me. And the other good thing is he was telling me some good news. And the other good thing is he reminded me that my dish that was in the oven was ready and it didn't get burned. So those sound like maybe real simple things, but again, it's the smallest amount of shift in your mindset that actually changes your physiology. It changes the production of chemicals in your body. So you go from this stress or anger or frustration to, there's some new chemicals that'll come into your body that kind of settle you down a little bit and help you ride out that unexpected wave.
Cassie.
By the way, the thumbs down was to the coffee, not to what you were saying.
We wanted to explain that because obviously I love my coffee, and how you were describing that first sip in the morning, and I'm like, oh yes. I thought Carol to go.
I don't believe in chemical caffeines. That's why. We have that struggle talk about it all the time, because there's just a lot of additives and chemicals to it. Even if it says organic, they're fooling you. But anywho, I love so much. It's so funny because I talk about different acronyms or whatever for operations of what we do in our daily lives for our business. But and a long time ago, I do remember hearing about the PWOO, and I'm glad that you re-triggered that in my brain, because we do have to take that empowerment of how we're going to operate each day. And we sometimes think that, well, it's okay if we do A, B, or C, and then kind of we regret later. So if we get into the habit of, like you said, when you get those interruptions, I always use it as an advantage to say, maybe that him coming in, disturbing me, because I so relate to that. I'm still working what I do with my passion. He is retired too, so that frequently he'll pop in on a live broadcast and say, what's for breakfast, or like, I'm on my podcast, so I can relate to that. But I kind of look at it as a pause moment, like you were saying. But I look for that, maybe that was the Lord's way of saying, you needed a break because you were either really stuck in what you were writing about, maybe you're blogging and what's the right word, and you just needed to take a break from it. Sometimes you just were physically exhausted from looking at a computer, if that's what you're doing at that particular time. But I always look at, okay, it was a needed pause that I didn't set the timer myself to kind of get up. So I kind of use that kind of train thought. But I do agree, it is hard, because especially if you're right in the minute, especially if you're in the moment, a really good part of that, and then you get the interruption, and you're like, okay, where's the blessing in this? I got to look for it. And I think, we always talk about with Monday Mindset, to really set your whole week up, is always know that we're never in control. We're not in control of what's going on in our surroundings. We're not in control of our local or state government. We're not in control of what's going on in the outside world, and sometimes within our home. But we are in control of how we act and how we react. So I absolutely love what you had to bring to the table on that. That was awesome.
I'll have to plug meditation for a second here. One of the things that I've noticed about being a longtime meditator, and again, I just want to encourage your viewers and listeners, meditation is not something that you become the master at. There's no prizes, there's no awards, there's no medals or anything for it. Meditation helps you get better at your life. And the biggest thing I've noticed in meditating is how I respond to crises and how I respond to others, especially with like interruptions and stuff. I used to just fly off the handle. I'd be crazy. I'd get mad. I'd throw the F-bomb, all of that, which still happens too. But generally,
I have to say the F-bomb does feel good to say it every now and then.
It totally does. Feels so grown up. But generally, there's something, and there's a lot of things about meditation, but there's things that the way that it changes your brain and your ability to respond. You have a bigger pause, you have a bigger gap, you have a longer fuse, and you're able to allow that interruption or allow that crisis to pop up and look at it without that immediate reaction to it. That's what I have found. I'm almost like watch myself sometime outside of myself. I'm like, look at you not screaming at him. Look at you, girl.
I think that is so important. Obviously, my husband is basically retired. He does outside jobs, but when he's in the home, blasting through the door, Janice, I'm hungry. And I've said to him 1,000 times, and I pause for a moment, and I just comically will say, well, do you know where the refrigerator is? Versus me like, hello, what part of this don't you understand? So I think we've worked all that out, but you are so right. For every action, there's a reaction, and like how I try to turn it comical, or it's, hey, I can't find my glasses. Do you know where my glasses are? Do you know where I put them? Whatever it may be, it's, well, gee, honey, I don't really know where you put them, but I'll give him some indications as to where he may be able to find them. And usually they're in his pants that are in the laundry basket. So there you go. So
there's something about having men at home in that regard. It's like your children, if you had children and they're gone, you got the emptiness going on. Suddenly you have a 12-year-old.
Well, I am happily a non-breeder by choice, and I definitely bow down and worship to any mama who is working at home with children under, the age of 10. I have no idea how they get anything done in their household or anything done in their work life with all those little people that need things. Because I have a big person that needs things, and I can corral him. I actually can lock the door on him. I can feed him and, put him down for a nap kind of thing. So I'm just amazed that people are able to negotiate that. I did want to touch on something both of you said about the coffee, because it does relate to mindset and to the brain. So Janice, I'm with you. I love coffee. I love the smell. I love the ritual. I love all of that. And it has been one of the greatest pleasures in my life to have coffee and to have those rituals around. But I have been working to move away from it and move down to a coffee that it's 50% coffee and it's 50% mushrooms. So it's got a lower caffeine amount in it.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm glad to hear that.
And as I recovered from adrenal fatigue, I came to realize that coffee actually is super bad for our adrenal glands. It puts us in fight or flight. So if you wake up in the morning, you don't direct your mind, you grab a cup of coffee, all you're doing is getting on the fast train of crazy town. So I have been slowly progressing over to a different product, and I go back and forth. I use the half calf product that I use, and then the new one that I'm using it's called cacao, and it's the beans they grind up and they make like chocolate bars out of. So it's raw chocolate powder, and it actually operates differently in the body. So the caffeine turns on your endocrine system. And like I said, it turns on the adrenaline, it turns on the cortisol, action, which can be really fatiguing over time. And then the other one, the cacao, actually is a vasodilator. So it helps open up your blood vessels. So you're getting more oxygenated blood to your body. So you have an energy boost in a different way. And it's a brain stimulator. So it stimulates your pineal gland, which is the gland that helps you with your creativity and your ideas. And like I said, I'm not fully into one or the other right now. I'm halfway between you girls. So Janice, if you called me for a cup of coffee, I'd totally go. And Carol Sue, if you were coming over, I would offer you some amazing teas that I have or cacao.
There's other ways of getting that warm, fuzzy feeling without the chemicals. And that's kind of what I focus on. And you're talking to somebody who would drink, 10 to 12 medium French vanilla iced coffees with one sweetened long skim milk from Dunkin' Donuts every day. So from going to that to nothing. And I related to my gut nutritional program, and I just fed what I needed, and I got that clean energy from plant-based versus doing the chemicals. So it's a mind changer. And for a lot of people, they don't realize that you get on that hamster wheel of crash, rush. It's also a diuretic. It makes you dehydrated. So there's a lot of poor things about caffeine. Now, when I say that, we always really emphasize the fact that in moderation. So do I occasionally have a cafe type of martini? Absolutely. Do I drink other things that have a little bit of caffeine? I'm very particular about what that might be. It's got to be plant-based or really homegrown organic. But so it's not to say that caffeine's horrible for you. It's just not the caffeine from 30, 40 years ago where it was more natural and wasn't implemented in the manufacturing process with all the chemicals. So that's the huge difference. But yes, I still like that warm, fuzzy, that type of feeling. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't always recognize that there's a lot of things that can affect our mindset, like what we're putting in our bodies, such as coffee. So we may feel this jump out of our body, frantic, I can't seem to focus. And we're like, oh, I need some more coffee because that helps me focus. But sometimes more is just more. It doesn't necessarily enhance the process. Again, This is not an advertisement to tell people to get off coffee, but if you are trying to retrain your mindset, my suggestion would be to do it first thing in the morning before you have your first beverage, whatever that may be.
Absolutely.
Well, my first beverage of the day, I just want to clarify, is actually a little protein shake before I go to kickboxing class. And then I drink my, I think this is 32 ounces of water. And then I have my coffee. It's like the moment. And I absolutely love that. And I don't see myself giving that up anytime soon, although never say never, of course. I'm always looking for alternative drinks or different things that I can do to enhance my gut health. And for me, it's all about balance. In as much as I'm feeling that I may want another cup of coffee, I won't do that. I'll drink some water, and then, that moment passes. So it's all good, Gotta have that little cup of coffee, makes me feel great. There.
I think both of you brought up something that is relevant to our topic of mindset, which is pleasure. I think a lot of people, when they're trying to make a habit change or they're trying to, taper off something, there's this fear that they're not going to get this good thing that they want. And really, pleasure has a huge role in helping us shape our behavior as well as reinforce behavior. So I like to use my coffee ritual as like a reward. I like to use it kind of like what you're saying, Janice, is there's certain things I do in the morning, and then I sit down and I'm fully present with whatever my hot cuppa is. And when I am trying to make a new change, like I'm trying to start a new mindset or a new behavior around something, I will always try to incorporate something that's pleasurable in there, whether it's bringing in an essential oil, whether it's having a little stretch break afterwards where I move my body maybe to a dance song, but always incorporating that, because I think once we start restricting too much, that's the other thing that freaks out the mind, is like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have all these habits and we do all these habits and these habits feel good. And how dare you take any of them away from me? And then your mind tries to grab onto them even harder. And then it seems really, really hard to try to make a change. So trying to find where's not just what is the good about this, like when there's an eruption, but also what is something good I can feel good about, or what is some little activity that gives me that little boost of bliss.
Absolutely. Got to have a little bliss to get over the humps, but also, when you do that, when you embrace that goodness, then you look around, you say, oh my God, I've got all these blessings around me that I never even thought about. And when you feel that, you're going to feel gratitude. And we also know that gratitude is the greatest of all human emotions. So I love that.
So Laura, tell us where our viewers and listeners can get a hold of you.
All right. Well, I'm a little bit of a Facebook refugee, so I don't hang out there that often. I treat it like a community center. So I go there once a month, once a week, check in, look around, comment on a few things. So you can find me on Facebook, but the easiest place to find me is actually Instagram. And I like to post pictures of trips and talk about what's going on in my life. I also have a podcast, so I talk a little bit about The Guru Is You there. That's my podcast. And my Instagram handle is laurawall.tx. The other place you can find me is my nonprofit's website. And so I am the co-founder of Hearts of Healing Center, and our nonprofit is heartsofhealingcenter.org. You also can find that on Facebook, Hearts of Healing Center, and same handle on Instagram. And then, of course, because I need one more thing to do, I have another Instagram handle for the podcast specifically. So if someone just wants to check out the podcast and not see my cute dog pictures and heart pictures and all of that, they can go to The Guru Is You on Instagram and they can find me there. Those are the best places.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for that. And obviously we connected through, excuse me, Clubhouse. So
oh yes,
yeah,
and Clubhouse.
yeah, that'll be awesome. This has been a great Mindset Monday, and we're so excited that you joined us today and shared your wisdom and all these amazing tips. And I'm just so thankful that this all worked out time-wise. Sue, any closing comments?
Well, I think you hit so many different valued points that people really need to take to heart that maybe they didn't think about. And we love the opportunity to have you again sometime for an update, of course. And yes, we have to definitely schedule on a Monday, because that goes right in line with all that we are talking about, all that goodness, and really making sure that your mind is set in such a way that is going to produce and be the best version of yourself in every given moment, but it also embraces and says, you know what, I may need to slow things down when I'm not feeling so good. And I think you gave some great, amazing tips, and we thank you for that.
Thank you both, ladies. Just reminding your listeners and viewers, your mind is a magnet. So choose your thoughts carefully. That's what you attract to your life.
I love that. Your mind is a magnet. And on that note, my name is Janice, AKA Wellness Diva 5.0. Make it a good day, Monday Mindset. Where are your mindset thoughts? Share with us on our website, www.twosistas.online. And I am with two.
Sisters, and this is Carol, so AKA Naughty Boss, about to get her pickleball on, because along with mindset, you gotta have a good mindset when you're getting your fitness going, and I'm all ready for that. You guys have a great, amazing day. Thank you so much for being a guest today, and I know there was so much value that you're gonna bring to so many people. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Tuesday. You gotta have a good mindset to triumph whatever you're gonna be triumph over. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow on Triumph Tuesday. You guys have a great day, everyone. We'll chat later. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
I'm going to grab a quick screenshot now that we're not